Yo, haha, Miltnificent.
What is good, YouTube? Your boy Miltnificent coming back with another video. Your boy has finally gotten the Air Jordan 4 White Cement on the Miltnificent channel because prior to all these shoe releases, especially when it comes to Jordan Brand, that was the one shoe that was eluding me in terms of the retro series because it was one of the shoes I really wanted but could never get back then. Of course, it debuts in 1989. And of course, Tinker Hatfield, that's his second version of the Air Jordan, continuing from the Air Jordan 3, which kind of made noise based off his design. That visible air unit was everything. They used, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the polyurethane foam midsole on top of that rubber outsole that made it so good. And, you know, why not bring it back for the whole Air Jordan 4 series? I think when it came to the Oreo, at least the Air Jordan 4 Oreo was kind of the closest that I have gotten to for the Air Jordan 4 White Cement. But then there's some people saying that, hey, you know what, Nike is starting to go out, they're pulling things out the vault, making things original that we never had access to before. And then our highly coveted shoes is what I kind of see what Nike and Air Jordan is doing and bringing shoes that were really highly coveted this year out. So, hey, I'm appreciative of it. And the only thing I'm going to say about this is hopefully it's as good as people are kind of saying it is to a certain point. I think the only knock to the whole Air Jordan 4 White Cement series was the fact that in terms of material, although the shape is kind of like the original, people felt like the synthetic leather that they used on this year's model was, because if you look at the Air Jordan 4 Oreo, you can see that the leather they put on here is actually really, really, really good. So, that said and done, man. Let me take this on out. Finally, the Air Jordan 4 White Cement, finally on the Miltnificent channel. You can see right here, size 13. Shout out to Foot Locker, if I'm not mistaken, was where I got my pair from. And of course, you got to have that whole speckled design on here for the cement print. Put this right here. Ooh, man. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, people will say, that the Air Jordan 4 White Cement is probably the best colorway out of the OG series. You had the Fire Red 4s. If I'm not mistaken, it was the military 4s. And you had the bread. And of course, now you have the white cement. I still like the bread as the favorite. And the only reason I'm saying that's because you can say the Air Jordan 4 White Cement, you've seen it on Spike Lee's movie, right? Do the Right Thing. Debuts on there. But the shot that Jordan took, Cavaliers, last second shot, he was going and pumping, it wasn't the Air Jordan 4 White Cement. It was the bread that he took that shot in. So I'm just saying, like, this is the 2018 model. I'm just saying, I prefer the bread in terms of the colorway. But I can't knock the Air Jordan 4 White Cement because this is also an easily good, stylish shoe. So Jordan did wear this. And, man, if you don't know by now, when Tinker Hatfield created the Air Jordan 4, it was to my understanding that he got it from part of it from a P-51 Mustang plane. And I see this whole design. Of course, you got that speckled design around the midsole. You got that whole polyurethane, got the visible air unit, the rubber traction. The outsole is actually kind of almost similar to the Air Jordan 3. But you got herringbone, multi-directional. This is a well-designed shoe. I think I see what they're talking about in terms of originality, where they gave it that slope. On the Air Jordan 4s that they were making, let's say, early 2022, 23, they had this box shape. So if you're looking at the Air Jordan 4 Oreo versus the Air Jordan 4 White Cement, you can see that there's more of a slope to the design. So hopefully you can see that. But in terms of the toe box, this is kind of like a rounded, whereas this has that slope to it, which is kind of the original, the way it was in 1989. But I like the design in terms of the plane, right? Because if you get the plane concept, let me see if I can do it real quick. Tinker Hatfield's plane idea kind of took off, especially with the netting. So they were looking for like a design outside of the Air Jordan 3 that had a little bit more flexibility towards the upper. When I see this, I see the support wings for the actual lacing system, because when you take, see if I can do this live. if I take the laces out, if you notice that the actual wings can actually come out the actual shoe, but you kind of have to unfold it to see what I'm talking about. So just think of a plane. Take this out. If it'll actually come out. And I didn't realize there was actually a speckle design on the inside of this waffle. Man, they really made this thing tight. I didn't realize that on the inside. I don't know. And check your Air Jordan 4s, because if you actually take that waffle, or at least the support wing off, and you look on the inside, you can see there's a little bit of speckle design on both sides. Something to look at. But anyway, if you take the Air Jordan 4 and you go like this, of course, it's going to, let me just put this in here. It's all for looks. It does look like an actual plane. So that's kind of the idea where Tinker Hatfield got that. And then one thing I will say is that when you look at the netting, if you look at, I think they call it a guardian, like a fence, plastic fence. I think that's what reminds me of the whole netting. So if you're looking at this is kind of like the fence or the guardian fence that you would see around the plane, right? So something, if you have cargo, something like that, you don't want it to fall out. It's like a huge cargo box or whatever. You don't want things to fall out. You want it to stay in place. That's kind of what they would use. And that's kind of what reminds me of that whole netting that they put around there. And of course, you have mesh behind this. This is a flawless design. This is something that a lot of people would definitely want in their collection. But then some people are saying, okay, if I have the Oreos, should I get the Air Jordan 4 white cement? Listen, it comes down to personal preference. I don't think you can lose on either or, but this was a shoe that I have wanted since I was a little kid, and I'm glad to actually have it. I do like that, appreciate that fire red Air Jordan tongue flight logo right here. Got the Air Jordan labeling on the back. You can flip it upside down. If I'm not mistaken, back in the day when they wore the shoes, they would kind of take the tongue, flip it over, and that's why you see the Air Jordan kind of upside down if you were looking this way. And if I'm not mistaken, on this particular model, towards the Nike Air that they put towards the heel, is where you see like the speckle design actually continue on. If you're not going to see it here, you'll probably see a video right here, but you can see the speckle design right through the actual Nike Air logo, which I think is amazing. Again, this is iconic in so many different ways, and let me find out what type of insole they actually put on here. It feels like Dream Cell. I'm not even looking at it. Oh, they gave us a, polyurethane. Okay. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Jordan. You guys, Jordan Brand really took off with this one. I didn't think that this was going to sell out right away, but it definitely did sell out in most sizes. So you can listen. This is a classic. This is something that, if you're a shoe collector and if you appreciate Jordan Brand, you're definitely going after this. For me, the only reason why I went after it is because this is the first time I actually owned this shoe. Some people probably had the 2018 version. You have previous versions. I can completely understand if you didn't go after it this year. But for me, it's the first time, and this is special to me. So comment below. Let me know, did you get the Air Jordan 4 white cement when it released? This is definitely going to be my top 10 pickup of the year. But your boy Miltnificent, man, Air Jordan 4 white cement. I look forward to styling this. You guys, stay blessed.